If you don't know, I've been an iPhone user for all my life. And yes, I used the iPhone 15 Pro Max for the last year as my main device. But I could not skip out on reviewing Android phones. Otherwise, I would not be a tech channel. And so, once in a while, whenever a big Android flagship comes out, I decide to review it. I did it with the Samsung S22 Ultra, and I did it with the Samsung S24 Ultra. I also picked out the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and now the Google Pixel 9 Pro. So, in today's video, an Apple fanboy, an Apple cheap, will review the Google Pixel 9 Pro. So if you are excited, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. This has been my experience with Google's flagship. Let's get started. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been using the Google Pixel 9 Pro. And yes, this device is controversial in my opinion, because this is such a great device. But like I said in my quick review, my first thoughts after I got this phone, it has some issues that I cannot overlook. So yes, this is a great Android phone, one of the best in terms of native experience, in terms of the Android software system, but it lacks some hardware qualities that I cannot skip over. And yes, this phone is very expensive. Right away, this cost me 1,200 euros. I believe in the US it's a little bit cheaper, about $1,100. But still, costing the same as my iPhone 15 Pro Max. This device has half the storage, only has 128 gigabytes of storage, while this one has 256. I mean, you are paying the same amount of money for half the storage. But I have a full video comparing these devices. It's on my channel right now, and I'm done with doing it. So yes, let's get back to the Pixel, where I do believe that the biggest design change this year was on the camera bump and the sides of the phone. And I think it has worked. I think that finally Google figured out something that makes it feel unique, but also very comfortable and premium. This new squared off design, copied from Apple, is, in my opinion, the best you can do for a phone. Makes your phone look premium and feel premium in the hand, but also makes it look comfortable and feel comfortable in the hand. So, before with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, if you held that phone for long periods of time, because of the sharp edges, it would start cutting into your hand. Now, Google Pixel 9 Pro, as well as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but focusing on the 9 Pro, has these curved edges, which make the phone feel premium, feel comfortable, and at the same time, feel new. Before, you had the old design of the Google Pixel 8 Pro. I was not a big fan out of it. It was not comfortable to hold. It was smooth, yes, but it was not comfortable to hold. And after long periods of time, it was almost like feeling like slipping out. I did not enjoy that curved glass into the back and the front of the phone. Did not enjoy that. And so, this new design change from the Google Pixel 9 Pro is very welcomed, in my opinion. So, if you currently have a Google Pixel 7, a Samsung S21 Ultra, whatever, and you are thinking about this phone, and you're thinking, is the design cool in the hand? Is design feeling good? I would say yes. This feels very close to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. If you are used to having iPhones and you are thinking about switching to the Google Pixel, feel comfortable buying this one because it will feel just like an iPhone 15 Pro Max in terms of feeling the hand. Because in terms of weight and premium feeling, it's not even close. I know, I made a mistake in my comparison video when I said that the iPhone 15 Pro Max was heavier than the Google Pixel 9 Pro. Well, I guess they weigh the same, 221 grams. But here's the thing, the Pixel 9 Pro feels lighter, feels less premium. It does not have that heft that the iPhone 15 Pro Max does have. Whenever you hold both devices in your hand, you will feel the difference. I don't know why, but the iPhone just feels heavier, feels more premium. You know, whenever you buy something that feels heavier, feels premium, and you like it, like whenever you buy watches and you feel like the watch is heavier, but you don't care because you like it, that's the feeling that you get whenever you held these both devices. And yeah, I don't know why, it's just my opinion. And if you don't really care about it, well, that's fine. They weigh both 221 grams. But one thing that is factual is the fact that the Pixel 9 Pro uses aluminum sides, while the iPhone uses titanium sides. Not just the iPhone, but the Samsung S24 Ultra. So, if you think about it, the three flagships on the top, the Pixel 9 Pro, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and the S24 Ultra, all of them, well, they cost the same. And the Pixel, well, is the only one that has aluminum sides and has half the storage. So, in terms of value, this device starts way below here. Because you cannot offer aluminum sides, you cannot offer this cheap material at $1,200 or 1,200 euros here in my country. You can't. You simply have to offer whatever other competitions are doing. Samsung understood that, and that's why they put titanium, because Apple put titanium. at that price, Samsung needed to compete, and so they put a titanium in their devices. If you look closely, the iPhone and the Samsung, they have the same colors and the same materials. The only thing that varies is the design and the software. But in terms of hardware, they are really close. Because again, they cost the same, they need to offer the same level of good materials. Google did not even bother to do that. And that's one big issue that I have with the 9 Pro. It does not feel $1,100, $1,200, whatever, worth of a device. It feels like $800, and that's a big issue in my books. As for the display, they did not cheap out on here. This is an amazing display. The same 2000 nits peak brightness as the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It looks great. The colors are amazing, contrast ratio is incredible, and it features 120 Hz. One thing that I found a problem in the Google is the Tensor chip. And the Tensor chip breaks down the display experience. I've been having lots of hard times explaining this to the camera, but here's the thing. You have 120 Hz, but your chip is not capable of playing, for example, 120 frames per second games, or even 60 frames per second continuous gameplay. So your display will feel more clunky than the competition. So the iPhone has 120 Hz, yes, but the Google, whenever playing very high intensive tasks, does not, because the display has to ramp down, the performance lags, and the Tensor chip is not powerful enough. This is a big gripe of mine. The Tensor chip is still not powerful enough. Put it in your lower end phones. Don't put it on flagship devices. Samsung knows that. That's why they completely killed the Exynos chip. Now they use Snapdragon's chip. Snapdragon's chip is super powerful, really close to Apple Silicon. Google's Tensor chip, it isn't. It's still a mid-range chip, a mid-range device performance, and putting into that on a flagship device that costs as much as a flagship does not make any sense. And even if it was for battery life and battery performance, so to be more efficient, it isn't. It isn't as efficient as the iPhone's chip, and it isn't as efficient as Snapdragon's chip. So it gets hotter, performs less, and at the end of the day, it's just a loss for the consumer. I know that Google needs to continue to develop their Tensor chips, and I know it's very helpful for the AI tasks, but Snapdragon's AI chip inside is still very powerful. You can do it all the things that you do on the Google. You can do it on the Snapdragon. Google has done it in the past. So why? Why focusing on the Tensor chip? I don't know why. Maybe Google thinks they can be an Apple of the world. It's tough. It's tough to be and to develop your own chips. Maybe in the future you will be able to catch up. Right now is a big issue on the Pixel 9, the second one that I found. But yes, if you compare the displays of these two devices, the Pixel 9 Pro and the iPhone, and even the Samsung, you will find out that they are really close. The Samsung, the iPhone, the Pixel, all they have a little bit different color profiles of the displays. One is a bit warmer, one is a bit less warm, a bit colder. The colors in one pop more, in the other one pop a little bit less because they are more natural. The saturation is a bit different. It's about the color profile you chose for the display. And the Pixel's display is a little bit more saturated than the iPhone, but less saturated than the Samsung. So the Samsung is like top. It's the most vivid, the most unnatural image, but the most appealing to the eye. While the Pixel 9 Pro is a little bit more real, a little bit more natural, but not as natural as the iPhone. So at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. The display is still really good on the Pixel 9 Pro, flagship level, I think. This device features USB-C, which is a good thing. I mean, there's no chance that it wouldn't, but it does not feature any type of Thunderbolt speeds or anything special. So between the iPhone, the Samsung, and of course the Pixel 9 Pro, all of them feature the same ports, the same I/O. You can charge the Pixel, you can charge the iPhone, you can charge the Samsung, all with the same cable, which is great. And I think it's a very good thing that it happened. I did not like the way that the EU forced Apple to put USB-C, but at the end of the day, it was a good outcome. One thing that the Pixel does really well is charging. It gives you this nice animation. It's not just the Pixel, the Samsung also does it too, but it's a very cool animation that shows you how many time is left for you to finish charging. Of course, charging here is quite fast. It happens at almost, I would say, 30 watts or 35 watts of performance, fast charging. It's quite fast enough. It cannot be that fast because it will degrade the battery, so it's not Huawei levels or even the Chinese phone levels, but it's quite good for an American flagship. Samsung's charges a bit faster, I think it's 50 watts, and then the iPhone is 30 watts, which is the slowest charging device out of the three. But the charging performance is great. This phone does not feature the new standard for wireless charging, so it doesn't have the magnetic back stand for wireless charging, almost like MagSafe that the iPhone has, so that's a pretty big miss from the Google Pixel 9 Pro. Other than that, I would say that the charging performance is really good. I would like to see the magnetic charger on the back. That's my only critique. But of course, the battery life here, it's good enough. It will last you the whole day. It's not iPhone 15 Pro Max or Samsung S24 Ultra levels. It's a little bit worse, like 5% worse. I can end up the day with this phone really well. At the end of the day, I would like be 20%, 15% maybe. So yes, I need to charge it every day, just like I do with my iPhone, just like I would did with the Samsung S24 Ultra. But this is a little bit worse. So if you are using your device a bit more than usual, it might not end up your day. But in terms of screen on time, it was like 4 hours and a half, 5 hours as my use case. Your use case can be different. My iPhone usually lasts 6 hours, 5 hours and a half maybe, and the S24 Ultra was about the same. So at the end of the day, the battery performance is solid, the charging performance is solid, and yeah, it's still another big win on this flagship device. There are two things that I don't enjoy about the Pixel that I do believe are pet peeves of mine, and that's the fingerprint sensor, again, and the Face ID sensor here that does not have the sensor, it's just with the camera. So yes, first Touch ID or the fingerprint sensor. It's better than last year, for sure. Now it's none of that crap of the light that hits your finger. No, it's now optical. Now it's really, really good. I think it's laser called. It's just like the Samsung, but it's a little bit worse, a little bit less accurate. Now it works, I would say 98% of the time, but when it doesn't, it's really annoying. While the Face ID system or face unlock system that Google proclaims that it has, it's terrible. Terrible. I mean, if you had a really, really, really good Touch ID sensor or fingerprint sensor, I would forgive you, because again, you would have a really, really good sensor that justifies everything else. You don't really need the rest. But most of the time, I reach here and I look at the device to unlock, and boom, most of the time it unlocks with my face. But in the studio lights, works all the time. If I go outside, 80% of the time. If I'm inside with bad lighting, 40% of the time. And this is a problem, because then the device keeps getting into a loop of trying to unlock, and if it does not unlock, you have to use your fingerprint. So you always have this delay of 2-3 seconds if you don't know if it has unlocked or not, and then your fingerprint sensor is not as accurate as other devices. So Face ID or Face Unlock fails, and then you go into your fingerprint and it fails, and then what happens is, well, you need to put your passcode. This is very annoying. It happened to me several times. It happened more in the beginning, but now I'm more used to this system, so I simply just get here and touch the fingerprint sensor already. I don't really care. With the iPhone, I'm very used to getting here, just touching the display wherever I want, and it's already unlocked. But the Google is different. The Google, you cannot touch anywhere else. You just have to touch really the place to put the fingerprint. If you do, 98% of the time it will work. If you don't, it's a big issue. But yeah, this is a big pet peeve of mine. Don't consider this a problem of the Pixel, because again, it does what it's intended to do, which is the fingerprint sensor. As for Face Unlock, I wish it did not even have it, because it does not work every time. You cannot use it for banking systems. It's not secure enough. The last pet peeve of mine, and this one I've talked about several times already, it's a big issue in Android phones in my opinion, and that's the buttons placement. Yes, you have all the buttons in the same side, and I will not tire of saying this, you cannot do it, because it's much more comfortable to have the buttons on different places. Again, if you put one here and two here, I can distinguish between this side being the lock side and this side being the volume side. While with the iPhone it's really easy. It can be on my pocket and I can distinguish and use this phone not even looking. While the Samsung S24 Ultra, the Pixel 8 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro now, they all have the buttons in the same side. And this is very, very annoying, because I can turn up the volume, turn down the volume, or even lock and unlock the phone without even knowing, or trying to do the other thing, which is extremely, extremely annoying for me. And I hope Google and Samsung change this in the future. I simply don't enjoy this. It's a big, big pet peeve of mine. Other than that, I understand that you people that love Android, you don't really care about this. AI. Oh boy, that's the biggest buzzword of the moment. AI has been defined in 2024 as probably the biggest subject that everyone is talking about. AI has been Apple's focus in the last iPhone 16 event. AI is the focus of the Pixel 9 Pro event. AI has been the focus of the S24 Ultra event. Everyone is talking about AI, and everyone thinks that AI is going to be the future, me included. But the thing is, what is AI? What can you define as AI? And what can you define as machine learning? What can you define as different intelligence, or even features on a device that should be there? Apple has been doing machine learning on their device for years now. and never called it AI. While Google, last year, smartly enough, started talking about AI on their Pixel 8 Pro event. And now the Google Pixel 9 Pro is a huge AI phone. This is an AI-focused device. I can bet you that most people buying this device is because of AI. This has so many AI features that later on will come to other Android phones. This is just a vessel for Google's AI. Google's business is not the hardware. It's not the Google Pixel 9 Pro's hardware. It won't ever be. But it's AI. It's their Gemini system. It's their Gemini language model. And that's why they are building Pixel 9 Pros and selling them for people to use and test out and to build this Gemini model. Trust me, Google will make this Gemini model available for the most amount of phones possible when they can. Samsung's, any type of Chinese phone, even their old phones will have Gemini. They need to build this into other phones, into Android. They want to bake Gemini into Android. They, even in their event, when they showcased the Google Pixel 9 Pro, they used the Samsung S24 Ultra to showcase Gemini. That's how Google has invested on their language model. Gemini is the future of Google. This product is more of a vessel for Gemini than Gemini is a feature of the Google Pixel 9 Pro. So I do believe and understand why Google made this device expensive, but also not as good in terms of hardware, because the big focus of the Google Pixel 9 Pro is Gemini and its AI features. And let me tell you, they are incredible. AI here is top-notch. From the translation models, really good and accurate. From the live translation on phone calls, insane technology. From the Google Photos app, doing some weird stuff that I do believe will be available on other phones, but right now is exclusive for the 9 Pro. Insane, trust me guys. Like the fact that you can take one photo with someone and then give the phone to another person, include yourself in the picture, and mix out the two images and make one single image with both people is so weird. Marquez showcased this incredibly well, and oh my god, it works. It works 85% of the time. Magic Editor is getting better every year. You can remove subjects, you can remove objects, anything you want on a picture. You can alter an image by itself. At the end of the day, you gotta ask the question, what's a photo? And it's really turning into AI wars right now. Everyone is saying, oh, you can AI this, and you can fix your photos with AI. Now we can fix your videos with Video Boost with AI. And all you have to do is connect to Google Photos Cloud. And I'm just saying, is this true? Is this reality? Well, it isn't. But like most things in social media, they are not true. And Google is putting their efforts on their servers, on their cloud service, Google Photos service, and the Pixel is relying on it so much because the Tensor is not a very powerful chip. Whenever you take a photo and you want to enhance it with AI, you have to upload it to Google Photos. Videos, the same. Nighttime video needs Google Photos cloud service to make it look real, to make it look good compared to the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the Samsung S24 Ultra. Video Boost, video enhancing systems are present on the Google everywhere. And whenever you take a video, it will try to upload it to the cloud. This is a big issue if you don't want to pay for Google Photos services or even other Google services, because it will fill up your Google account and you won't be able to receive emails, send emails, and you will have to pay for more. I know it's a business, but a shady one, Google, a shady one. But this does not undermine how good this AI system here works. Gemini is really powerful. It has some issues in terms of the simple stuff, the simple tasks on the device. For that, it asks help from Google Assistant, which I do believe is completely forgotten by Google by now. Like, I don't know, playing some music, like asking for a contact to call someone, to send a message. It all redirects all of this through Google Assistant, which is quite weird, but I understand why. Different models do different things, but in the future, I do believe Google will kill or join Google Assistant into Gemini. Of course, this is just predictions. Will AI be the future? Will AI be just another buzzword of 2024? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, the part that most people are interested in, and that the part that actually defined the Google Pixel devices for years now, and that's the camera. Google Pixel devices have been known for having one of the best, not the best photo cameras in the market. And this time is no different. The Google Pixel photos look different. They have this Google Pixel look because of the AI, because of the algorithm that Google bakes in their devices. All their photos look really good. They look like they are not real, like they were taken in a studio light environment. And that's something that people enjoy and people buy Google Pixels for. And after 2 weeks, I gotta say, it is true. I like the photos. They look incredible. They look very good, saturated, the colors pop, and yeah, for the average consumer, they look great. But for me, that I can distinguish between a real photo, a fake photo, and I don't know, I'm a photographer in general, I love to edit my photos. I think that I do prefer the way that Apple handles their photo taking. It's different. Yes, this is subjective. Yes, you might prefer the poppy look of the photos from the Pixel. You might prefer the neutral look from the iPhone. I guess most people prefer the Pixel's look because it looks more appealing, looks better in the eye, and you don't have the work to edit the photo. For social media, these are incredible. They look already ready to post. And I do believe this is one of the best, not the best photo camera in the market. It does lack some things that actually make a good camera, a good photo camera nowadays. And that's a great telephoto and a great ultra-wide. This has a 40 megapixel ultra-wide, a 50 megapixel wide camera, and a 40 megapixel telephoto. The telephoto here is 5x. But even if it is 50 megapixels or 40 megapixels and the iPhone's is 12, whenever you compare both photos, I mean, they are very much the same. And the iPhone sometimes makes it better. The stabilization on the iPhone, I do believe it's better. And the color reproduction is also better. Nighttime photography with the 5x telephoto ends up being better. So I don't know why Google did this. Why Google put a 50 megapixel telephoto that does not have that much of a detail. One thing that Google does really well, and it's very weird, is whenever you take a photo, imagine you zoom in, you take a photo with 5x or even 20x, 25x, you can go into the settings, edit this photo and call it zoom enhancement. So it will enhance your zoom and give you clearer details on the image. Why don't you apply this at the beginning? I don't understand. It's so weird. But it makes the zoom look better and I would say a little bit more clear than the iPhones. Then the ultra-wide camera is definitely not as good at nighttime, definitely not as good as crisp as the iPhone. It does have more megapixels, but I do believe that the sensor should be smaller, so more megapixels don't account for better photos. I do believe that the iPhone reproduces better photos, but one thing that the iPhone does much better, and this year is no different, is the video. The video on the Pixel is good, but it's not on par as on the iPhone. This is the best I've seen from Google. It takes good video, but whenever you use the video enhancement tool, it makes it look even better. And when you use it, it's getting close, but not close enough. It still feels like smartphone footage. And yeah, this phone can film 8K 30 frames per second, but who cares about that? It can also film 4K 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second, cannot film in log, at least that I know. It's not easy to find in the camera settings. The camera settings are a bit more complicated than the iPhone, but they are full of features and I do believe they are easy to use after a while of you getting used to it. So yes, the camera system here is not the best, the video is good. The nighttime video, it's getting really good on the Pixel, especially if you use the enhancement tools on Google Photos. And yeah, the photos are always good. And the best in their category if you think and you prefer this look. So yes, the camera on the Pixel has been its strongest point since it came out, and it's no different this time. But Google is trying to change that. Google is trying to turn this device into an AI device. And this year, they turned the Google Pixel 9 brand into a vessel for Gemini. That's my opinion. This is just a vessel for Google's language model. And they could have done better. They could have improved the hardware. They could have given you more for your money. But they chose not to. They chose to invest that money into Gemini. And they will keep doing it. They will keep improving their language model because it's their business. They are in the business of ads. They are in the business of the search engine. They are in the business of the language models and AI. They are not in the business of selling you and making money with their hardware. So yes, at the end of the day, the Google Pixel 9 Pro costs as much as the flagship, but I don't think right now it's worth the money. So let me know in the comments below what you think about the Google Pixel 9 Pro. Great device, but it should have been $100 cheaper. At least they should have kept the price that they had last year, Pixel's 8 Pro. If it had kept the price with all of these new features, it would be worth it. But the same price as the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the S24 Ultra, with half the storage and giving you aluminum frames and this lower end hardware, I'm not a big fan. So what do you think about Google Pixel 9 Pro? And so, because of all the reasons that I listed, I decided to switch for the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so don't miss that review. Let's see if the S25 Ultra will make me switch for my iPhone 16 Pro Max. So if you are excited for that, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.